The rain-slicked streets of New York City gleamed under the streetlights as I stumbled out of the upscale bar. My tie loosened and my judgment even more so. In a haze of whiskey and defiance, I spotted him. Alexander Hale, the heir to the Hale fortune, sitting in his wheelchair at the curb, waiting for his driver. Without a second thought, I leaned down and kissed him hard, right there in front of the flashing cameras of the paparazzi who'd been hounding him all night, just to prove a point to my ex who accused me of being too afraid to live authentically. My name is Jordan Ellis, and that kiss wasn't born out of love or even attraction, at least not at first. It was a reckless act of rebellion against a world that had boxed me in with its expectations. Growing up in a conservative suburb of Chicago, I'd learned early on to hide parts of myself. My parents, devout churchgoers, preached tolerance but practiced judgment. When I came out in college, they cut me off financially, forcing me to scrape by on scholarships and part-time jobs. Now, at 28, I was a junior architect in Manhattan, barely making rent, while Alexander, 30, was the golden boy of a media empire, paralyzed from the waist down after a skiing accident 5 years ago. The tabloids loved him, the tragic hero who turned his family's company into a beacon for disability rights. And me? I was just the nobody who decided to use him as a prop in my personal drama. The next morning, my phone exploded with notifications. "Mystery man kisses Hale heir," screamed the headlines. My boss called me into his office, his face a mask of forced neutrality. "Jordan, this firm's reputation is everything. We work with high-profile clients, including the Hales. Explain yourself." I mumbled something about it being a misunderstanding, but the damage was done. Social media was ablaze. Some praised it as a bold statement for queer visibility. Others decried it as exploitation of a disabled man. Disability advocates accused me of ableism, saying I'd reduced Alexander to a symbol rather than seeing him as a person. LGBTQ+ groups were split. Was I empowering or just chaotic? I tried to brush it off, but Alexander's team reached out that afternoon. Not with a lawsuit, as I'd feared, but with an invitation to his office. "Mr. Hale would like to discuss the incident," the email read. My heart pounded as I took the elevator up to the 50th floor of Hale Tower, a sleek glass monolith overlooking Central Park. The receptionist ushered me into a conference room where Alexander waited, his wheelchair positioned at the head of a long table. He was even more striking in person. Sharp jawline, piercing blue eyes, dressed in a tailored suit that screamed old money. "Jordan Ellis," he said, his voice calm but edged with steel. "Sit down. We need to talk about that kiss." I sat, fumbling for words. "Look, I'm sorry. It was stupid. I was drunk and angry at my ex." He leaned forward, his gaze unwavering. "Drunk and angry doesn't excuse using me to make a point. Do you have any idea what it's like to have your life dissected by strangers? To be pitted or fetishized because of this chair?" I shifted uncomfortably. No, I didn't. My struggles felt trivial compared to his, losing the use of his legs in a freak accident, then rebuilding his world from scratch. But Alexander wasn't done. "Here's the deal. I could sue you for assault or drag this out in the media, but I won't. Instead, you're going to work for me." I blinked. "What?" He smiled faintly. "My foundation is launching a new initiative for accessible urban design. You're an architect. You'll consult on it pro bono for 6 months. Consider it community service." It wasn't a request. Refusing meant professional ruin. The Hales had connections everywhere. So I agreed, not realizing this was just the beginning of him turning the tables. Over the next few weeks, I dove into the project. Meetings at Hale Tower became routine, and Alexander was relentless. He challenged my designs. "This ramp is functional, but does it integrate seamlessly? People in wheelchairs don't want to feel like an afterthought." I'd argue back, defending my ideas, but he'd counter with personal anecdotes that made me question everything. One evening, after a long session, he invited me to dinner at his penthouse. "To discuss the blueprints," he said. But as we ate overlooking the city lights, the conversation shifted. "Why did you really kiss me?" he asked, sipping his wine. I hesitated. "My ex, Mark, said I was too scared to be out and proud." He left me for someone braver. Seeing you there, so composed despite everything, felt like a way to strike back. Alexander nodded slowly. And now? Do you regret it? I met his eyes. Not entirely. It's forced me to face things. That night, as I left, I felt a spark. Something real beneath the chaos. But society wasn't done with us. Whispers in the office grew louder. Colleagues questioned my motives. Was I using Alexander for career advancement? Online forums debated if our partnership was genuine or a PR stunt. Even my estranged parents called, their voices laced with disapproval. Jordan, this is getting out of hand. Kissing a man in a wheelchair? What will people think? Their words stung, highlighting the intersection of homophobia and ableism that plagued us both. As the project progressed, so did our connection. Alexander shared stories of his accident, the guilt from pushing his limits on that slope, the depression that followed. I thought my life was over, he confessed one night, but I rebuilt it stronger. Inspired, I opened up about my own scars. The rejection from family, the constant fight for acceptance in a field dominated by straight, able-bodied men. Our talks turned intimate, laced with unspoken tension. Yet, every step forward brought new conflicts. One day, during a site visit to a proposed accessible park, protesters showed up. Hale is exploiting the disabled for profit, they chanted, mistaking our initiative for corporate greed. Alexander wheeled forward to address them, but a heckler shouted, "And who's this guy? Your latest boy toy." The words hit like a punch. I stepped in, defending him, but the damage lingered. That evening, Alexander pulled away. Maybe this was a mistake. People see us together and assume the worst. I refused to let it end there. Let them assume. We're building something real, on the project and maybe between us. He looked at me, vulnerability in his eyes. Are we? The question hung in the air, marking the shift from provocation to possibility. The weeks blurred into months as the accessible urban design project gained momentum. Alexander and I spent long hours poring over blueprints in his office, our debates evolving from professional clashes to charged exchanges that left me breathless. One afternoon, sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows, he pointed out a flaw in my sketch for an inclusive playground. This swing set, it's great for kids in wheelchairs, but what about sensory elements for those with other disabilities? I leaned over the table, our hands brushing accidentally. The touch sent a jolt through me, and when I looked up, his eyes held mine a second too long. Outside work, the world kept intruding. A viral article questioned Alexander's leadership. Can a paralyzed heir truly run an empire? It dredged up old rumors about his accident being a cover for reckless behavior. Disability rights groups praised his advocacy but criticized him for passing as inspirational rather than addressing systemic issues. Then there was us. Paparazzi snapped photos of me pushing his wheelchair during a site inspection, sparking headlines like, "Hale's new aid" or something more. Social media exploded with opinions. Some celebrated a potential queer, disabled romance as progressive. Others called it performative, accusing me of savior complex. My friends were divided too. At a bar one night, my buddy Chris pulled me aside. "Dude, are you sure about this? Alexander's world is cutthroat. And with his condition, it's complicated." I bristled. His condition doesn't define him. But deep down, I worried. Was I equipped to handle the realities of dating someone with a disability? Alexander had opened up about the physical challenges, the catheters, the spasms, the fatigue. "It's not glamorous," he'd said. "Most people run when they see the full picture." Yet I didn't run. Instead, I pushed closer. One evening, after a grueling meeting with city officials who dragged their feet on permits, Alexander suggested we unwind at his family's Hamptons estate for the weekend. "Just to clear our heads," he clarified. I agreed, heart racing. The drive out was quiet, the city fading into rolling hills. At the sprawling mansion we walked, or rather, I walked and he wheeled, along the beach path adapted for accessibility. As the sun set, painting the sky in oranges and pinks, we sat by the water. "Jordan," he began, his voice soft, "that kiss. It was the first time in years someone touched me without pity. I turned to him. It started as stupidity, but now, I see you, really see you. He reached for my hand. And this time, the kiss was mutual, tender, born of genuine emotion rather than provocation. But paradise didn't last. Back in the city, a scandal erupted. An anonymous source leaked emails from the Hale board, questioning Alexander's fitness to lead due to his personal distractions. Fingers pointed at me. "This Ellis guy is a liability," one director wrote. Alexander confronted his family at a tense dinner. His father, a stern patriarch, eyed me suspiciously. "Son, we've supported your lifestyle choices, but it's bad for business." Alexander's mother chimed in, her concern laced with bias. "And with your health, darling, do you need more complications?" I felt like an intruder, the outsider crashing their elite world. Later, alone with Alexander, I vented. "They see me as a gold digger or a distraction." He sighed. "They're scared of change, of me not fitting their mold." That night, we talked until dawn, unpacking layers of societal pressure. Homophobia in corporate America, ableism in queer spaces, it all converged on us. The project hit a snag when funding fell through. Investors balked, citing the controversy surrounding Alexander. "Too risky," they said. We scrambled to salvage it, rallying support from grassroots organizations. During a fundraiser gala, I stood by his side as he gave a speech. "Accessibility isn't charity. It's justice," he declared. The crowd applauded, but a heckler yelled, "Justice? Or just a way to clean up your image after that kiss?" Security escorted him out, but the seed of doubt was planted. In the aftermath, Alexander withdrew emotionally. "Maybe we should pause this, he said one night in his penthouse. "The project's suffering because of it." Hurt surged through me. "Is that what you want? To let them win?" He looked away. "I don't know. I fought so hard to prove I'm more than my chair. Now, with you, it's like starting over." I left feeling shattered, questioning my choices. Had my impulsive act doomed us both? The next day, I threw myself into work, redesigning elements to make them bolder, more inclusive. But the tension simmered. A colleague pulled me aside. "Jordan, rumors are flying. People say you're using him to climb the ladder." I denied it, but the isolation grew. Then came the turning point. Alexander called me to his office unexpectedly. "I was wrong," he admitted. "Pausing us isn't the answer. Fighting together is." We reconciled with a hug that lingered, reigniting the spark. But external forces loomed larger. A rival firm sued us, claiming intellectual property theft on our designs, bogus but draining. As we navigated the lawsuit, our bond deepened amid adversity. Late nights turned into confessions. My fear of abandonment, his dread of dependency. "I don't want to burden you," he whispered. "You're not a burden," I replied. "You're my choice." Yet society pushed back. Online trolls targeted us. Queer-bashing slurs mixed with ableist jabs. "Wheelchair prince and his peasant," one post read. It fueled debates. Was our relationship empowering representation or inviting mockery? Friends urged caution. Family distanced further. My parents sent a letter. "We pray you'll find your way back to normalcy." Through it all, the project inched forward. We secured new funding from progressive donors, turning the tide. At a press conference, Alexander credited me publicly. "Jordan's vision has been invaluable." Flashes popped, capturing our subtle glances. For the first time, the narrative shifted from scandal to story of resilience. But as high as we soared, the crash loomed. Alexander's health took a hit. A pressure sore from overwork led to hospitalization. Visiting him, I saw vulnerability raw. "This is my reality," he said. "Can you handle it long-term?" I nodded, but doubt crept in. Was love enough against these odds? The hospital room smelled of antiseptic, a stark contrast to the opulent life Alexander usually projected. He lay there, for drip in arm, looking smaller than the Titan I knew. "It's just a complication," he assured me, but his eyes betrayed exhaustion. I sat by his bed, holding his hand. We'll get through this. Outside, reporters camped, turning his private struggle into public spectacle. Headlines screamed, "Hale heirs health crisis. Is romance to blame?" The incident amplified the societal microscope on us. Disability forums dissected his hospitalization, some blaming stress from our tumultuous affair. Queer media lauded us as trailblazers but warned of burnout. My inbox filled with messages, supportive ones mixed with vitriol. "You're enabling his denial of limitations." It forced me to confront my own biases. Had I romanticized his strength, ignoring the toll? Discharged after a week, Alexander returned home with stricter routines. Physical therapy, rest mandates. I moved in temporarily to help, navigating his accessible apartment with care. Mornings involved assisting with transfers, evenings with deep talks. "This chair changes everything," he confessed. Intimacy, travel, even simple dates. I listened, learning. Our connection grew, not despite the challenges, but through them, emotional intimacy bridging physical gaps. But external conflicts escalated. The lawsuit from the rival firm heated up, depositions revealing dirty tactics. They claimed I stole ideas during my previous job. Lies, but mud stuck. My boss put me on probation. "Clear this up, or you're out." Alexander's lawyers fought back, but the stress mounted. At a court hearing, the opposing attorney grilled me. "Isn't it convenient you kissed Mr. Hale, then landed this gig?" The implication stung, gold-digging queer exploiting the disabled heir. Public opinion swayed. A popular podcast debated, empowerment or exploitation? The Hale-Ellis saga. Callers weighed in, some defended our right to love freely, others argued we perpetuated stereotypes. "Disabled people aren't props for coming out stories," one said. It sparked nationwide discussions on intersectionality, how queer and disabled identities collide in a judgmental society. Amid the chaos, personal reckonings hit. My ex, Mark, resurfaced via text, "Saw the news. Proud of you for finally being bold." Bitterness flared. "Bold? You left because I wasn't." His reply, "Maybe I was wrong, but is this real or rebound?" Doubt seeded. Was Alexander a rebound from rejection? Alexander sensed my turmoil. One night, as we watched the city from his balcony, he asked, "Regrets?" I shook my head. "None about you, but the world's making it hard." He pulled me close. "Then we make it easier together." That vulnerability cemented us, but fate tested further. The project groundbreaking ceremony arrived, a milestone amid turmoil. Dignitaries attended, speeches flowed. Alexander wheeled to the podium. "This isn't just about ramps, it's about dignity for all." Cheers erupted, but a protester interrupted. "Dignity? While you parade your boyfriend for clout." Security intervened, but the moment soured. Later, Alexander confided, "Sometimes I wonder if solitude was safer. I refused to let despair win." Solitude isn't living. We pushed on, the initiative gaining traction. Media shifted slightly, features on our collaboration as innovative. But family fractures deepened. Alexander's sister, Elena, visited, her concern genuine but pointed. "Alex, Mom and Dad are worried. This relationship, it's exposing you." He defended us. "It's also healing me." My own family reconciliation attempt failed. A video call with parents turned ugly. "Jordan, we're concerned for your soul and his safety." Homophobia veiled as care. I hung up, tears stinging. Alexander comforted me. Their loss, but the isolation weighed. Then, a breakthrough, the lawsuit was dismissed, evidence proving our originality. Victory tasted sweet, celebrated with a quiet dinner. "To us," Alexander toasted. As wine flowed, barriers crumbled. We shared dreams, travel adapted for accessibility, a future unbound by labels. Yet, highs invited lows. A tabloid exposed private photos. Us at the beach, intimate but innocent. Hale's secret romance revealed. Outrage followed. Privacy invasion sparked debates on celebrity rights. Alexander's board pressured him. Step back or risk shareholder revolt. He resisted. My personal life is mine. The strain showed. Arguments flared, me accusing him of prioritizing image. Him retorting I didn't grasp corporate pressures. One fight ended with me storming out. Maybe I am just a provocation. Regret hit instantly. I returned hours later, apologizing. I chose this, chose you. Reconciliation was raw, emotions laid bare. As the project neared completion, societal tides turned. A documentary crew approached. Tell your story, authentically. We agreed, hoping to control the narrative. Filming unearthed truths. My impulsive kiss as catalyst for growth. Alexander's accident as forge for resilience. That kiss provoked me too, he admitted on camera. To examine what I wanted. Airing sparked buzz, positive mostly, but controversies lingered. Critics called it self-serving. Fans hailed it inspirational. Online polls asked, is Hale Ellis love real or PR? Votes split, fueling discourse. Personally, we evolved. I attended disability workshops, understanding allyship. Alexander joined queer advocacy events, embracing intersectionality. Our love, once sparked by defiance, matured into partnership. But challenges persisted. Alexander's health scare recurred, minor, but reminder of fragility. Promise you'll stay, he whispered. Always, I vowed. Yet, whispers of doubt echoed. Could we sustain against odds? The project's launch was triumphant. Ribbon cutting at the new park, crowds cheering. Alexander and I stood wheeled side by side. We did it, he said. Pride swelled, but so did questions. Had the kiss been curse or blessing? Post-launch, the park became a symbol. Families of all abilities enjoying spaces designed with equity in mind. Alexander's foundation soared in donations, our story credited for the boost. But success bred envy. A former Hale employee leaked internal memos, alleging favoritism. Ellis got the contract through personal ties. Investigations cleared us, but reputations bruised. Board members pushed for Alexander's resignation. Distractions are costing us. He fought back in a shareholders' meeting, wheelchair at the forefront. My life, personal and professional, proves resilience. Judge me on results, not rumors. Applause was tepid, but he held firm. Afterward, exhausted, he confided, sometimes I feel like Sisyphus, pushing uphill forever. I squeezed his shoulder. Not alone. Societal debates intensified. A national conference on LGBTQ+ and disability rights invited us to speak. On stage, I shared, that kiss was impulsive, but it exposed hypocrisies. How we tokenize differences. Alexander added, love doesn't fit neat boxes. Ours challenges norms. Q&A turned heated. Aren't you romanticizing struggle? One attendee asked. We countered thoughtfully, but it highlighted divides. Back home, personal storms brewed. My career suffered, clients hesitated, fearing controversy. A big firm offered a job in LA, stable, away from scrutiny. Think about it, my mentor urged. Temptation gnawed. Alexander noticed, if you need space. Pain etched his face. No, I insisted. But the pressure, it's relentless. We sought therapy, unpacking traumas. Sessions revealed my abandonment fears stemmed from family rejection. His from post-accident isolation. We're mirrors, the counselor said, reflecting strengths and wounds. Progress was slow but healing. A family reunion tested us. Alexander's parents hosted a gala for his birthday. Tensions simmered. His father cornered me. Son's happy? But is this sustainable? I stood tall. Love is. Later, Alexander proposed a truce. Let's show them. We danced, him in his chair, me adapting steps. Whispers hushed. Some smiled. My parents reached out tentatively. A card wishing well. Hope flickered, but caution remained. One step, Alexander encouraged. The documentary's success led to book offers. Write your memoir. We collaborated, pouring emotions into pages. Drafts revisited the kiss. My defiance, his surprise. It provoked growth, Alexander wrote. Publishing sparked reviews, praise for authenticity, criticism for exploiting vulnerabilities. Online, trolls evolved, deepfakes of us circulated, twisting innocence into mockery. We reported, but damage lingered. Ignore them, Alexander said. Easier said. A health crisis hit harder. Alexander needed surgery for complications. Pre-op, fear gripped us. If something happens, he trailed. It won't, I assured, staying through recovery. Post-surgery, he emerged stronger but changed, more introspective. This taught me, life's fragile. Let's live fully. We traveled, adapted adventures, wheelchair-friendly trails in national parks. In Yellowstone, under stars, he said, I love you. Words long felt, now spoken. Joy overwhelmed. But reality intruded. A political bill threatened accessibility funding. We lobbied against it. Protests drew crowds, our faces on signs. Hail Ellis. Fighters for rights. Empowerment clashed with exhaustion. Career-wise, I launched my firm, specializing in inclusive design. Alexander backed it, partnership official. Success bred jealousy. Rivals spread rumors. Nepotism. We ignored, focusing on impact. Intimacy deepened emotionally. Physical aspects adapted creatively, respectfully. Trust built bridges over gaps. Yet doubts resurfaced during a rough patch. Argument over work. You're overcommitting, I yelled. He retorted, you don't get the stakes. Silence followed, then apology. We're learning, he said. A milestone my parents visited. Awkward dinner, questions about his chair, our life. We're happy, I stated. They softened slightly. We see that. Progress, fragile. Alexander's board relented, promoting him. Celebration dinner. To lessons learned. Toasts raised, but undercurrents remained. As years blurred, months since the kiss felt like eons, the world watched. A follow-up article. From kiss to commitment. Hail Ellis 1 year on. Interviews delved deep. Choices, regrets. No regrets, I said. It taught empathy. But privately, questions lingered. Had provocation led to purpose? Society debated. Panels on TV. Is provocative activism effective? Opinions clashed. We hosted a fundraiser at the park. Community united. Speeches inspired. Connections formed. Alexander whispered, this is our legacy. Yet a shadow, anonymous threats online, blending hate. Security tightened. Worth it? I asked. For us? Yes. Healing continued, therapy, support groups. We joined queer-disabled alliances, advocating change. A quiet evening. Remember the kiss? He mused. Life changer. I smiled. For better. As conflicts waned, peace settled. But life, unpredictable, hinted at more lessons. With the park thriving and our firm expanding, Alexander and I settled into a rhythm that felt almost normal. Walks in Central Park, adapted workouts, quiet evenings debating books. But normalcy was illusion. Society never fully relented. A new scandal brewed when a conservative outlet published an op-ed, the Hail Ellis Union, undermining traditional values. It accused us of pushing agendas on youth, linking our story to rising acceptance rates. Backlash included boycotts of Hail products. Support countered with rallies. We responded with an open letter. Love isn't an agenda. It's human. Shares skyrocketed, but fatigue set in. How much more? Alexander asked, rubbing his temples. As much as needed, I replied, though weariness echoed. Personal growth peaked. I reconciled with Mark over coffee. You pushed me to this. He nodded. Glad it worked out. Closure. Alexander's family thawed. Holidays included me. My parents followed. A Thanksgiving visit awkward but warm. We're trying, Mom said. Tears flowed. Career highs. Awards for the project. Speaking gigs nationwide. We co-authored a book, Provoked, a journey of love and advocacy. Launches drew crowds. Signings sparked stories from fans. You gave me courage. But controversies persisted. A debate show invited us. Opponents argued our visibility harmed family structures. We countered, diversity strengthens them. Viewers voted, we won. But divisions highlighted. Health remained vigilant, regular checkups, lifestyle tweaks. Alexander thrived, innovating mobility tech through his company. Our bond? Unbreakable yet tested. A disagreement over expanding the firm. Too soon, he cautioned. Opportunity knocks. I pushed. Compromise won. Anniversary of the kiss. Private celebration. From provocation to partner, he toasted. Reflection deepened emotions. Society evolved slowly. Laws passed for better accessibility, queer rights advanced. Our story contributed per activists. Yet questions arose. Had the kiss been ethical? Debates online. Consent in public acts? As time passed, we mentored others, young queer folk, disabled entrepreneurs. Impact rippled. A final challenge. Adoption considerations. Discussions on parenting with disabilities, queer stigma. Ready? He asked. Together, yes. But fate twisted. Alexander's promotion led to relocation offers. DC for policy influence? Pros, advocacy. Cons, upheaval. Decision loomed, choices weighed. In the end, we stayed in NYC, roots deep. Looking back, the journey, from impulsive kiss to profound partnership, taught volumes. Emotions navigated, societies challenged. And so, the story circles. Provocation birthed reckoning, love endured. Was Jordan's initial kiss an act of empowerment or exploitation?